So Simon was 2 years old when you joined
Yes.
sleep school.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what was your routine with Simon? What did you need to do to help him go to sleep?
Sleeping was a very lengthy and delicate process. The routine would be me coming into the room with him. We would sit in a chair, and I would tell him a little story, sing him a song maybe, and then I would just tell him, hey, it's time to go to sleep now. And I would have to hold him, and he would just be sitting on my lap, up against my chest, and I would just hold him. And usually I would just put my head back, close my eyes, pretend to fall asleep so that he could see, oh, it's sleep time. And then sometimes he fell asleep in a few minutes, sometimes it was 20 or 30 minutes. And I would just have to be holding him the whole time. And before putting him down into his crib, I would then have to make sure he was asleep enough. So I would have to hold him for a while longer. And then very delicately stand up, readjust him, walk over to the crib. And he's a tummy sleeper. So I would have to do this leaning over the crib rail, putting him down, rolling him, trying to not wake him up at the same time. And there would be nights where he would wake up and he would immediately just stand up and cry because he was mad that I put him down. And I called that a failed dismount, just because it just didn't work. But usually I got pretty good at it after a while. And I would put him down, and then I would have to go stand across the room, make sure that he was settled, and then sneak out. So, and then hope he stayed asleep throughout the night. So it would usually take me about an hour to get from the time I entered the room to the time I left. So it was quite a while. It was very stressful. I remember when I would do the walk over to the bed and then I would be holding him before I put him down, I could just feel my heart racing, and I would be just on the verge of an anxiety attack because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have stuff to do. As the primary parent, you got a lot of stuff to do and you can't really do a lot with your kid. So I would be very anxious to get out and on with my evening. And then the anxiety of wondering, oh my gosh, is it going to work? Is he going to lay down? Is he going to stay asleep? Or am I going to have to pick him back up and start the process over again? And then the nights were the same. If he woke up in the night, usually I wasn't able to get him back to sleep with that method. And I would just have to co-sleep with him for the rest of the night. So there was a lot of co-sleeping in the first couple of years of his life.
Okay. Thank you. And so I remember when we first got on a call together, I don't know if you remember because it was maybe 3 or 4 months ago. But how did you feel after the consultation? Did it help you, or what did it bring you as a parent, this consultation and going to Simon's sleep?
I was excited and I felt like a weight had been lifted because I learned so much during the consultation about why he didn't want to be in his crib, that it was all about trusting the sleep space. And it really made me think about, what was going on for him. It made me think about how he felt in his bed and why he wasn't comfortable. So it was very enlightening, very educational. And then I felt hopeful that there was going to be a solution that I would actually want to try, compared to all the others that did not work or that we just didn't want to try because they seemed too harsh and we weren't about that. So I was really excited at the end of the consultation because I learned a lot about what was going wrong, why things were happening the way they were, and very hopeful that there was something that we could do about it to hopefully help him be able to sleep independently and get him trusting his space and able to sleep throughout the night, and then also get a little bit of time back for ourselves too.
So you just mentioned that you didn't want to try other methods because they might be a bit too harsh. Is that why you chose sleep school? And can you share your experience about our method being gentle and child-led?
Yes, yes. So one of the things is, when we first realized that we needed to help him figure out how to sleep independently, we had a lot of people telling us, cry it out, or modified cry it out, or leave him in the crib and just stand there next to him and let him cry, or just pat him once in a while, or just leave the room and come back. And even the pediatrician was saying that, family members were saying that because that's what seemed to work for their kids. But as a sensory processing disorder child who struggles with self-regulation, that just didn't work for Simon. And it every time we tried a couple different modified cry it out methods early on, it made me feel sick because it felt like I was abandoning him. It felt like I was breaking his trust. It made things worse. And we knew that we didn't want to go down that route because it was just so harsh. Especially as a sensory kid, we dealt with feeding issues since birth. And when he was about 1.5 years, we had him assessed and discovered that he had sensory processing disorder with not only with the feeding problems with the textures and everything, but a big component of his sensory disorder is self-regulation. He can't calm himself down. I mean, what toddler can, but it's way worse for him. So doing these different methods of sleep, it was just compounding the problem. And he wasn't going to be able to figure that out on his own without some other structure in place. So it was definitely a huge factor in how we viewed this method compared to the others, because as you had explained, it's not cry it out. It is gentle. It's a process, definitely. And I could see the value in that. And I figured, hey, you know what? It's not cry it out. It's not modified cry it out. It's not some other method that's going to make him angry. And I figured, why not? Why not give it a shot? What do we have to lose? Because it's either going to help or it won't. And if it does actually work, then we have a kid who can fall asleep independently and hopefully stay asleep all night and be able to fall asleep on his own again without crying out and needing to co-sleep for the rest of the night just to get rest. So we figured, hey, you know what? We're just going to give it a shot and we'll see what happens. And just so thankful that we did.
I'm happy that you did too. I know this every family sleep school journey is different, but can you share maybe the highlights of your journey or something that really changed you as a parent or as a family? Anything you'd like to share share
Yeah.
now?
Well, it was definitely a journey. Ours started a little bit early. We had a consultation with Miss Megan because of Simon's additional sensory issues that could have kind of prevented some progress. We had to deal with some of that before really starting. So we kind of got a jump start on sleep school. And I'm very happy we did because we were able to take a few steps to really help him prepare for sleep school ahead of time. And then once we started, since some of that legwork had already been done, sleep school, I'm amazed at how well he responded to it, because I really didn't think that was going to happen. I thought that we were going to struggle our way through, but things were done, step by step, in these small manageable steps that we could understand, small changes that he could understand, he could get used to slowly over the course of, especially that first week, that first really intensive week. And it wasn't just jumping in, A to Z, it was just A, B, C, and building on those skills. So he was able to really learn as I was learning. And it helped me understand sleep better, what helps him regulate and self-regulate. It helped him so much with his self-regulation, even outside of the bedroom. So it's just been astounding to me. But it just, watching him grow over that first week and really adjust to the steps, and being able to, at the end of the first week, have me outside of the room and him falling asleep on his own. It was just incredible. And I didn't think it was going to happen, but I was hopeful that it would happen. And it made me really proud of him as a parent, that he adjusted and he learned, and we did it together. And it helped me understand, hey, if we actually try some of these harder things that you have to teach your kid, we can get through things together. So it gave me a lot more confidence as a parent too.
That's great. And I like what you mentioned about the fact that it also helped him self-regulate outside of bed, because there are a lot of other benefits of sleep school that are not only related to sleep. So you mentioned also you being more confident as a parent, but do
Yes.
you have other examples maybe that come to your mind?
Well, we're about ready to delve into potty training once he gets adjusted to school. So we're going to see how confident I am then. Honestly, the biggest thing was that we noticed about a month after sleep school, we really noticed that when he would get angry while playing and not getting his way, we were able to calm him down a lot faster and a lot easier. And he was able to come down on his own. And even his occupational therapist still comments that she noticed a big difference in Simon after sleep school. It made her job a little bit easier because he was able to figure out how to regulate a lot faster when, as in OT, you have to kind of push the kid in order to help them teach them how to regulate. So part of her job was kind of winding them up and then helping them come back down. And she noticed a huge difference in Simon after sleep school. And that was just a huge added bonus, because if he's able to regulate better, I know as somebody who's triggered pretty easily by big emotions, I am able to stay calmer. So we're a lot happier in the household now that everybody's a little bit more regulated.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that. Okay, I have one last question for you. The hug, so our special sleep snack. Can you tell me, how did you feel about the hug, and what's your situation now with the hug?
Oh my gosh. When I first saw the hug, I thought, wow, innovative, brilliant. I can see why this is so beneficial. I did not ever expect that Simon was going to go in it. He, as a sensory kid, he needs that proprioceptive input that compression gives him. And he would be fine with me hugging him at night, but too many hugs during the day, he didn't want. He didn't like the feeling of it. Trying to use the compression vest during his occupational therapy, hated it, meltdown city. So I figured, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Because how am I going to get him in this hug and expect him to stay there for 10, 11, 12 hours at a time? There's no way. But once we got it and I put it on his bed, and I just started slowly introducing it to him ahead of time. As soon as we got it, that was the key, is just to give yourself a lot of time to introduce it to the kid. So, at first Simon would see it, and I would put a couple of his stuffed animals inside to show him, hey, this is how we wear it. And a few times a day, we would just go into his room, and I would just let him hang out on his bed, and just feel it, not expecting him to get in. And then eventually he let me put his feet in, and eventually he let me put his arms in, and eventually he got all the way in, just for a couple minutes at a time, just to get used to it. Like, okay, so there's hope. There's hope that we can make this work. And a couple days before sleep school, that was the first time we were able to do purple playtime and had 20-30 minutes of time. And I would leave the room and check in on him and leave him with toys, and he was able to get comfortable enough that by the time sleep school started, he was used to it and he got in it, and he loves it now, because he realizes that he feels, he gets that input that he needs to help him regulate and calm down and stay calm. And then, of course, I love it because he's not in a crib, so he doesn't feel trapped, but he's also safe in his bed because he can't go wandering around his room getting into everything. So I love it as a parent because it helps him stay put. And then he loves it just because he gets that input that he needs just to be able to calm down, and it's cozy and it's soft. So he's able to just snuggle into it at night, which is a really good feeling. And I'm so glad that we have it. And I'm so glad he adjusted to it.
Thank you, Jamie. It's really nice to hear all of that and to see that you and Simon are doing so well right now. And
Yes.
I can see the difference also. You look very bright and happy. And
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit better sleep now.
thank you so much.